So Golden Agri-Resources is a global agribusiness, and fundamentally sustainability is important to our business. When you depend on the earth for what it is that you produce and sell, you have to be very much aware of sustainability issues. And I think what the SDGs do is provide us with a really useful framework that tells you these are all the things that sustainability entails. And as you look across the 17 goals, you can identify those that are really core to your business and look at ways that you can really demonstrate your ability to help the world achieve those outcomes through to 2030. So for Golden Agri, we look at things like life on land, clearly an important one for us in terms of making sure that we're protecting the environmental values that help us to grow palm oil in Indonesia. So forest conservation, for example, an important part of our environmental and social policy. We also look at things like zero hunger, which may seem a slightly odd one, but I think particularly target 2.3 that looks at how smallholders and yield improvement and productivity on land is really key to ensuring a secure food supply for future generations. So there are lots of different ways that we touch on SDGs through our business, and they give us a really great framework to communicate that both to our employees and obviously to stakeholders outside of our business. If you look at things like yield improvement, for example, where we have 500,000 hectares in production in Indonesia, we currently achieve about anywhere between 5 and 7 tonne per hectare of oil, of CPO. That's pretty good in Indonesian terms. But through R&D, we're looking at being able to double or even triple our yield per hectare, so that instead of having to become a 1 million hectare operation, which would obviously put pressure on the environment and on land, we can achieve the same outputs on the same footprint as we have now. So these are very much linked subjects. I don't think you can actually ask business to achieve sustainability without also considering the economic value to the business that sustainable practices can bring. So the palm oil sector has had a fairly bad run over the last decade or so. Certainly received appropriate criticism about its practices in the past. And I think you've seen tremendous change in our sector through leading companies like GAR in terms of what we've been trying to do around sustainability. It's not always been easy to bring other players in the sector along with us, particularly, palm oil has a very fragmented supply chain. There's a lot of SMEs involved in the industry. I think the SDGs, again, give a really useful framework to help those companies come on board this sustainability journey that the palm oil sector has been undertaking. And then more broadly in agribusiness, I think, again, generally been slow to really be able to talk about how it's contributing to environmental and social good, and the SDGs provide a framework for agribusiness more broadly to do that. GAR is part of a thing called the Global Agribusiness Alliance, working with 18 other companies, looking at how our operations contribute to SDGs, and really trying to focus in on how we can create a community of practice amongst other agribusinesses globally, to demonstrate and to be able to realize the ambitions that are in the goals in practice on the land.